Well, Tottenham fans. We have been here before, haven't we? Absolutely diabolical, and pardon for the pun, but for me, that's where it all started today. Lloris, the guy needs to be brutalised, or he could be on red wine again. I mean, I don't know what's going through his head lately, but we've got a lot to discuss this evening, and I want to know from you guys out there, are you Conte in? Are you Conte out? What's the problems? We're way off the team we were last spring. Why have we not been able to bring that into this season, considering bringing 6 new faces in here? But look, I'm going to start with the whole Antonio Conte things. Now, look, for me, we've been here before under Jose Mourinho. We've been here before under Nuno Espirito Santo. We question the tactics. We question the team selection. We question their methods. We call them outdated, blah, blah, blah. And we also sit here and say someone else will get better out of these guys. Are we not bored of saying the same things? People were saying the same under Pochettino before he got sacked. Saying the same under Jose Mourinho before he got sacked. The same under Nuno as well before he got sacked. Now, for me, I know people don't want to hear it, but when you've got people like Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer in your team, these sort of results are always possible. We were absolutely cruising in that game. Cruising that much. Eric Dyer decided he didn't have to concentrate or focus. He decided he didn't have to execute the basics. 2 balls out to Session, ended up in the stands. Passed back to Hugo Lloris under no pressure. Went out for a corner kick. Went to control the ball, rolled underneath his studs. It was coming. Everyone else could sense it. You at home watching it could sense it. And it just made everyone else nervous around him. Sanchez on the ball today. Absolutely shambolic. People who's calling for a new manager. Tell me what manager is going to come in and get more out of Sanchez, get him to be able to do the basics, which Pochettino, Jose, Nuno, and Conte have all failed to do. Same as Eric Dyer. In fact, Conte's probably got more out of Eric Dyer than any of them. Same as Ben Davies. You know, people like this, if they're still around the club and they're forming our backline, what do you expect? Can't blame the manager for that. Can't tell me Conte sent Eric Dyer out there to start lazing around before we conceded, and then the next thing we were 2-0 down. You can't blame Conte for that. He didn't instruct Eric Dyer to do that. He didn't instruct Hugo Lloris to go down like a bag of shit. Can't keep always blaming the managers. But what I will say, especially Jose, Nuno, Conte, they've had no option but to use these guys. And people then will say, oh, but I blame him for picking them. Okay. But regardless, one of them have to play in that backline. At least one of them have to play in that backline regardless. So what's he supposed to do? When you got players like this in the backline who constantly cost you under each manager, can't constantly keep here, sitting here, blaming the managers, questioning everything they do. When we got these guys that panic, that can't execute the basics efficiently enough or quickly enough, and they just panic any sign of sort of pressure, they end up crumbling and making a mistake. Can't blame people for that. We sit here and wonder why performances are so up and down all the time. We done the same under Nuno. Started like a house on fire. Performances dipped. Under Jose, there were some great performances, Man United. But then there was also some shamble performances. We've seen it last season, great under Conte. This season, not so great. That's because there's guys like them that form the nucleus of this team that are still around, that these managers have no option but to persist with, that keep failing us and letting us down. The problem is these guys, in my opinion. But look, I want you to come on and let me know your opinion. First goal, go and watch it. Eric Dyer was standing on Callum Wilson. For some reason, he decided he'd just wander off. Never called anybody in. If Eric Dyer's our leader, he shouts at Langley, he shouts at someone else. Come in and stand on Callum Wilson. I'm moving inside. Didn't do it. Callum Wilson was free. Ball played over the top. Look, Hugo Lloris, me personally, I think we should have been given a free. He did knock it by Callum Wilson, but at the end of the day, he went down like a bag of dicks. He's got to be stronger. He's absolutely got to be stronger. You know, Eric Dyer didn't cover himself in glory. after wandering off Callum Wilson, you think, okay, my first instinct, Hugo's coming out. I'm going back to the goal line to protect the goal. He didn't do it. Then when they score, he's standing there with his arms up, pretending he's going to do the YMCA. Then the second goal, Hugo Lloris, look, we've seen it against West Ham, shit pass out. We end up conceding from it. Session didn't cover himself in glory. Langley definitely didn't cover himself in glory. Absolute shambolic. By then, the game is gone. And I heard a lot of people talking about all the other guys, the midfielders, Kane, son. Talk about it all you want. They were absolutely flying until the backline took their foot off the gas because it was so easy. Even though they were still getting done with balls over the top. There was 3 or 4 before that. The warning signs were there. Not one of them took it. But they start taking their foot off the gas. We start giving away the ball just by needless errors. Next thing, you're giving Newcastle control of the game. And then at Tottenham, we seem to follow one error by another error. 2-0 down, game is gone. I'm sorry, but I'm not blaming Conte. I'm going to speak about Session in a minute. I'm not blaming Emerson. Emerson had a good game today. And in fact, ask yourself this. Did he do more going forward? And did he do more than what Doherty done over the last 3 games? Yes, he did. Bentancur started like a fucking bat out of hell. Pressing, winning the ball, turning it over. Then the mistake happens. Game's gone. Skip started like a bat out of hell. Getting forward, getting involved in the build-up play. Mistakes happen. Game gone. Basuma even started well. Kane and Son started well. Son had a couple of chances. Kane played 3 or 4 lovely true balls there. But then the back line makes the mistakes. Game gone. Or we can sit here and we can blame everybody else. Sometimes you do have to sit there and say, no, it is the individual. You can sit here and say, oh, everyone has to take it as a collective. You can't sit there and blame Harry Kane for what Numpty and Dumpty done at the back. You can't sit there and blame Son for what fucking Laurel and Hardy done at the back. I mean, come on. Sometimes you just got to look at things and just say, not good enough. Now, Ryan Sessegnon, he was okay today. He was involved in the game. Why can't he cross a ball? He used to play left wing, for God's sake. How can the guy not cross a ball 4 or 5 times up in the final third? Fail to find a man every single time. Some of them in good crossing positions. All you got to do is throw it towards the back post. Couldn't do it. Could not do it. We would have created chances today if the quality from that left-hand side was there. That's where we got a lot of the space. Just was not there. And look, the nuts and bolts of it. I blame 3 people today. First of all, I blame Eric Dyer. He started it. Then I blame Hugo Lloris. It's not good enough from the club captain whatsoever. And then, of course, Dumpty follows. Sanchez follows. 3 people I blame mainly for today because they completely took the momentum out of the game. Completely took the momentum out of the game for Tottenham. And it's just not good enough. I'm bloody angry tonight. Absolutely bloody angry. But look, I'm going to start taking some of the comments. And guys, by the way, I have a video that I'm going to drop tomorrow. And what I've done is I've took myself out of the immediate focus because, and you'll hear me say this, we had a helter-skelter few years. The highs of the Champions League final, Pochettino being sacked, then the hiring of Jose sacking 6 days before Cup final, being top of the league before Moon Boots and people like that let him down again. Between Nuno coming in here, Conte's heroics last season, it's been so up and down. Sometimes we need to take ourselves out the immediate. People before I wanted Jose sacked. They all said, Mandra can come in and play better football than this. Every single fan I heard put Nagelsmann forward. I was the only one that sat here and defended Jose and questioned him. I says, what makes you think Nagelsmann's coming here? He's doing well at Leipzig. Why is he going to risk his career, the trajectory of his career at Tottenham when he's leading line for the Bayern Munich job? The difference is, when managers that you think or you're going to put forward are different to what the club's going to bring in here. We ended up bringing in Nuno. And it did get worse. It got a lot worse. So we've got to be careful what we wish for. After Conte, it's going to be an underwhelming appointment again next. People are saying Poch. Seem to forget some of them players that are in this squad got Pochettino the sack after the Champions League final, by the way. Eric Dyer had to start stepping in, conceding goals. Davey started playing a bit more regularly, started conceding a lot more goals. And the problem under Poch is we were still scoring goals, but we were conceding them at an alarming rate. That's why he ended up carrying the can and getting sacked. What makes people think he's going to come in here and be able to get the guys to do the basics consistently? He's not. Some of these guys at the backline failed him in the first place. He's still going to need windows like Antonio Conte is going to need. Poch is not necessarily the solution. We've got to be careful what we wish for. We've got Antonio Conte, who, and we're very short-sighted, by the way, who dragged us from Europa Conference League to Champions League. The fucker deserves a hell of a lot of time. And done it with a worse squad, by the way, than what we have this season. Done it with a worse squad. He deserves a bit of respect and a bit of time. We know over the last few years, like you go back, and I broke down the squad on my video, by the way. We still have 8 or 9 players here from Pochettino. You've got 4 or 5 here from Jose Mourinho with a couple loaned out. You've got another few from Nuno, and then you've got about 8 for Conte. We have a squad that resembles 4 regimes, not one. And that's where we need to get to. And we need to be patient with managers. We can't expect our teams to just start playing football overnight. You've got to give it time sometimes. You've just got to give it times. We've been saying this since Jose came in here. Get rid, someone else can play it better. When are we going to sit there and realize the answers are staring us in the face? We spent least money in that back line across the centre-back regions. Dyer, Sanchez and Davies find themselves in the team or near the team through default. We haven't brought in enough players to challenge them. So they find themselves in the team through default. Even if we play Langley and Romero, everyone knows they have to be rested. We're going to get injuries. These guys have to form a back line. And they failed every single manager. They're the problem. You can't build up from the back when you have players who can't do the basics and pass out from the back. You can't go and play the modern way of football when you don't have players that can do that. But you also can't win on a consistent basis if you also have players who switch off when the going's good. They think their day is easy. Since Pochettino's sacking, Jose Mourinho 17 months. Some would say long enough. Nuno 4 or 5 months. Antonio Conte not even here a year yet. We need to give someone longer time in the hot seat to be out. And it's more than the style of football. It's a DNA, it's a culture, it's a mentality they have to bring with them. It's a lot more than a style of football. But look, that's enough for me ranting. Make sure you check out my video when it comes out tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts underneath it. We do have a couple of guests in the background that we will get on. But look, we're going to start taking some of these comments here, and then we're going to crack on and get the guests on. Sorry about that. Sometimes I just get passionate. You know me, guys. Passionate fool. Look, we've got Ryan Trestane. Big yourself up. He's in the background. Big up Dermot. He's in the background. He'll have his say in a few minutes. Chris Nash says we're shambles or effing shambles. Dan Coy says only good thing about the game, apart from Harry Kane scoring his 10th league goal of the season, was having Brian Daigle along with the watch along with Dave and Jack. Big yourself up, Dan. Use that badge to come on if you want to have a say, my man. Cynical Dad says it's frustrating waiting for someone to bring the creativity from midfield and realizing there is none. I understand that. I understand that. And do you know what? I called it before the game on the We Are Tottenham TV pump up I was doing. I said, hang on. We've created 1 goal and 1 assist from open play from the wing-back areas. The next creative person in the team, or the next best creative person in the team outside the end of the players in the forward area is Højbjerg. 3 goals, 3 assists. That was taken out of the team today. He's been creating through the middle silently and stacking up a couple of numbers. So he was a huge blow today. That's where we're looking from our creativity from, but it wasn't there today. But look, we got into some good positions today. The final ball wasn't there. It wasn't good enough, unfortunately. We have Spurs 89 says, I'm disgusted to be beaten at home to Newcastle against Newcastle. No offense to them. Why are they sitting off like cowards? Is this really a tactic Conte has asked for? My man, look, when you keep giving away the ball in the fashion we do, it's natural that you just sit in deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Look, a lot of us have played the game, whether it's been Astro, whether it's been, 11 aside or whatever. It doesn't matter. Everyone's kicked the ball in some shape or form. If you keep giving away the ball, you know yourself, you naturally just become more defensive. It just naturally happens over the course of the game. We didn't start out like that, Spurs 89. Go and watch back the first 20 minutes. Bentancur, Skip, Kane, Son, Emerson, pressing, turning the ball higher up over. But once that mistake happened, and then it followed by another quick mistake, and we were 2 down, the game was over. Everyone's looking around at Eric Dyer, and they're like, man, you look like Casper the Ghost. You're so pale. What's wrong with you? It's only a game of football. Why'd you look so shaken and rattled? you know? But look, it just, like I'm trying to say, it just naturally happens. It just naturally happens. King Hoddle says, why do you do this to me, Tottenham? I mean, I question that every night, my man, before I go to sleep. Chris says, evening, David and Jack, I would have made an appearance, but early start of work, fuming with the test, with the team performance. Yeah, look, my man, go and get a good night and try and sleep it off. I feel sorry for you. You live up there. You won't have to listen to it tomorrow. Chris Wyans says, Conte has to go now, surely. Newcastle didn't even play well and won the match. Conte did nothing to change the tactics for his squad. But my man, he set them out with tactics that were working. We were on top of the game until Eric Dyer done Eric Dyer things, till Hugo Lloris done Hugo Lloris things. I said this about these guys. If people remember me on We Are Tottenham TV, I spoke about Hugo Lloris 2-3 years ago. I don't really speak about it anymore because for me, I highlighted it 2 years ago. There's no need for me to keep speaking about it. I said at the time, and it wasn't a popular opinion. I said about Eric Dyer for the last 16, 17 months. In fact, really, I've ramped it up the last 16 months or so, but I've been at it since I started YouTube, been talking about Eric Dyer. We can sit here and we can keep blaming the managers and stuff like that, but these guys have formed the backline under previous managers, and you keep seeing the same things. Like you ask yourself, can Jose Nuno and Conte and Poch after the Champions League final all be wrong? Can all of their style of play be so bad, this bad? The answer is the backline. It's not improved nowhere near enough. We need to, look, Hugo Lloris is a great shot stopper, but he's crap with his feet. We need to update that to play the modern way. Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, they're sort of like, they can't play the progressive modern way. They just can't do it. Neither can Sanchez. How many Hail Marys was Sanchez given there today? Into the midfields and shit like that. Like, just, and it's like, okay, yeah, pass into midfield, but he's ballooning that at them. He's not even giving them a chance to get it under control with 3 players around them. I mean, it's just brain dead things. Like, all these managers cannot be wrong. They all can't be that bad. They all can't be that bad. It's impossible. The Lucky Irish, big up, my man. Good to see you. Phil, my man, hopefully you get on and have a say. Good to see you, brother. Who else have we got? We've got John N. He says, complete opposite to the last game. Started really well, but as soon as the first goal went in, heads dropped. Dyer and Sanchez are just not good enough for me. The back three needs major overhaul. Apart from Cutie. Couldn't agree more, my man. Absolute music to my ears. Michael Bennett says, starting to get numb to this kind of shit again. I mean, look, Michael. I mean, does it not feel a bit deja vu to you? Remember back under Nuno, remember back under Jose, especially, who many said he was finished, but still, Tottenham's the only club on his CV that he's never won a trophy at, but yet he was finished, even though Jose and Conte have both had what we crave as fans, which is trophy. But yet we're going to sit here, question them and blame them and everything else. If you're blaming Conte, you think, and this is a great comment by Sebas Wolf, you genuinely believe Eric Dyer, Sanchez, and Davies can form a back line, along with Matt Doherty and that will win us trophies and get us playing free-flowing attacking football. You must believe that then. You've got to. You've absolutely got to. Who else have we got? Michael Bennett says starting to get numb. Oh, yeah, big up, my man. Big up. Who else have we got in here? We've got Legend 27. I blame Conte for putting Eric Dyer on the team sheet every game. Who does he put in then? Pick your poison. Take out Eric Dyer. Who's your backup? Sanchez? Did he play well today? Davies? He's been shit this season. Tanganga? The guy hasn't seen minutes in I don't know how long because he's injury prone. So if you don't pick Eric Dyer, who do you pick? Silence says everything. Even though I'm on my own screen and I'm on my own, silence says everything. Who else have we got here? Phil, he says, big up Dave and Jack, man, I feel deflated. Leaving need to put their hands in their pockets and back Conte in January. Bring quality players in the positions that we need is a must. I'm fuming. 100%, my man. 100%. Big yourself up. Chris says, the problem is that Conte just won't change tactics to suit the current crop of players in his squad. He keeps and forces them to play a 3-5-2, which is outdated and current players can't handle. Man, we're confused. Were we not only speaking a few weeks ago, moaning about the 3-4-3? Jose Mourinho played one up top at times. We were moaning about his tactics. We were also moaning about Conte's. still some of these players that are not good enough to be here who somehow still here after 7-8 years form the backline. But we're going to blame the tactics. Like, do we not understand? We're calling for someone to come in here and play the modern way, a much better style of football, which starts with the ball at Hugo Lloris's feet, which means he has to be able to pass it into the wing backs or the centre backs. And it's still going to be the same guys. So it's not going to change. Conte is trying to play out from the back. He's trying to. And then what do we do? Okay, we don't. Okay, well then he has to switch the tactics up to suit the players. Okay, then we become a long ball team. Let's go and get Sam Allardyce for that then. You know? I mean, look, basically I've been here. I've done it under Jose. I've done it under Nuno. I've heard all the same things creeping out. Heard it all. We're going to get another guy in and we're going to be here in another 11, 12 months' time doing the exact same thing. We just are. Uchechi and Duque says, chaps, outside of Italy, Conte has won one Prem and one FA Cup many moons ago. Why is there this blind faith that he could do it in England again? He didn't even finish runner-up in the season after. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I'm looking at you, Dermot. When was the last time we won a league title? When was the last time we won an FA Cup? But we're going to belittle Conte's achievements when he's done it more recently than what we have as a club. And we've had many different managers doing it. Many different attempts, many different squads. But we're going to diminish Antonio Conte's achievements even though he's done it recently. Come on, man. He took over an Inter Milan team where Juve were dominating the Serie A and went on to win a league. That was only that was only a year and a half ago? Or a year ago? Come on, man. Come on. Please. Please. Who else have we got here? People are getting me wound up. Danny's in the house. Big up, Danny. Good to see you in the house, my man. Who else have we got here? Let me see. I just want to make sure I got everybody. King Hoddle, big yourself up. Young Putty, you said you were going to come on. Get on here, brother. Big yourself up. We've got Drew, the evening, Dave. How many managers are we going to blame when we have the same players, bar a few players Conte's brought in? You tell me. You tell me when it's going to stop. Look, someone give me a date and I'll disappear and come back on that date. I'd much rather it. I really would, to be honest with you. But big up, Drew. Good to see you. Who else have we got here? Derek Hutchinson. It's a good evening, Dave. But a dog shit display from this team, Conte in. But he needs to get rid of shit players. And Lloris is past. It needs to be replaced. 100%. And Derek, you're setting me off again. This brings me on to another point. And basically, it's kind of like we all sit here and be like, oh, well, they wouldn't have kept them around if they didn't think they were good enough. And it's kind of like, please, please. I mean, Jose Mourinho has worked with some of the best defensive players in the game. But yet we thought he wanted to form a backline with Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer. Conte has worked with some of the best centre-backs in the game. And you think he wants to, his pick would be forming a centre-back partnership with Sanchez, Dyer and Davies. Ask yourself this. Every manager we've said, oh, well, he keeps picking them. He must like them. When they've left the club, have any of them ever come back in for any of these guys to bring them to their next club? That tells me everything I need to know, really, to be honest with you. But big up, Derek. We've got Mark in the house as well. Big up, Mark. Dyer and Lloris doing Dyer and Lloris things. Spot on, my man. Chris Agenbar says Conte can get the players in to play his way. It is going to take a few windows to get where we should be. And that's the main aim of my video, calling for patience, my man. Welsh God says, Conte, hey, what in the world was Lloris doing? Did he think he was Neuer for a moment? No, Welsh God. Conte instructed Lloris to do that. That's what he wanted him to do. That's what he wanted him to do. You know, people that want Conte out, that must be the instruction. He wanted Lloris to go out and do that. Who else have we got here? You've got huge arse, fossil football. Just accept it if you win. Look, I just want to win. That's all I want. That's all I really care about. Darren Kilbaz says, I'm sick of people wanting Poch back. Do remember his last season? Conte's trying to push Levy for big money in January. If not, he will go. 100%, my man. Who else have we got? Who else have we got in here now? David Nugent, big yourself up. He says, Lloris Karius, it seems like that today, my man. Big yourself up. He says, didn't Pochettino retire as manager? No. J-Max says, no, Poch and not getting backed and got him the sack. Yeah. But ultimately, it was to say it was the guys Dyer and Davies when he did have to start relying on them. Couldn't do it. But yeah, you're right. You know, they should have invested for him. They didn't do it, and it did cost him his job. But also these guys did too. Like here's the thing. Look, we know we've got issues with the owners. But once a team is picked and sent over the white line, you can't blame the owners for what Eric Dyer and Lloris done out there today. You just can't. You've got to sometimes hold the individuals as well to accountable. And I know we don't like doing that to some of our players. But ultimately, why shouldn't we? Like, they cost us today. Absolutely cost us. Who else have we got? We've got Sean Tommy says, love from Wexford, pal. Completely agree. Back Conte. Wow, Shawnee. Big yourself up, my man. We've got Dermot coming on in a minute. He's also from Wexford. Whereabouts, brother? Let me know, son. But big yourself up, my man. Look, I just want a bit of patience for once under a manager. Big yourself up. We've got Oliver Canal says, I just came back from that shit show, Dave. I agree with every word you're saying. Wow, my man, really appreciate that. I'm sorry you actually had to endure that, to be honest with you. What an absolute shit show. Make sure you get some hot chocolate into you. It was pissing rain, my man. Big yourself up. Who else have we got here? Big up Chris, getting everybody in on the like situation. Just make sure I'm not missing any, because you know me, guys. I do feel guilty. I feel guilty when I don't mention people's name, because you guys are so good to give up your time to get into the chat. Top 943 says, fed up with these clowns at Tottenham. Yeah, honestly. Don't even get me going. Don't get me going again. Do not get me going again. Shauna Blaney, big yourself up. Good to see you. I hope you're keeping well. She says, people saying Conte out doesn't make sense. A new manager won't improve these players any more than he has. Couldn't agree more. I mean, it was only last year, coming into the summer, where people were saying, Conte's got the best out of Dyer and Davies that anybody has ever managed. They couldn't believe how fantastic these guys were. Now all of a sudden, they've reverted to type. It's Conte's fault. Shauna, big yourself up. Good to see you in the chat. You've got Sean. Oh, he says, Chris Wines. Nah, come on now, my man. Look, let's all be nice to each other. We can all have difference of opinions and be nice to each other. Chen Mehmet says, no, but they may play a system that suits them better. Like what, Chen? Conte system? Nuno system? Jose system? What system? He also says, we have a class up front and shit at the back. So when you have them players, you attack and dominate possession. So that's the shield for the weaker defense. Yes. But if we can't pass the ball from the back line, or we do it from left to right, and then Moon Boots decides to go for a long switch to Sessegnon, and he kicks it into the stands. Let me guess, Conte instructed him to do that? No, of course he didn't. It doesn't matter what manager, what system. It's still going to happen regardless. We all said the same things, Chem, exactly what you're saying here. We said under Jose. We said under Nuno. And now we're saying it under Conte. When are we going to stop this love affair? It's like Dyer and Davies and Sanchez are cuckolding us. You know, it really is. When are we going to just actually wake up and smell the coffee? Can't keep hiring and firing managers and letting these guys away with it. Connor Carolyn says he persists on playing at right back, a right back in a wing back position who cannot cross the ball at all. We have two other options there. Well, I mean, Emerson didn't put a foot wrong today, to be honest with you. Emerson played well today. In fact, he played better than what Doherty did. Doherty was shite the last 3 games, done absolutely fuck all going forward. People praised him for a defensive performance against Brighton that if Emerson put it in, they'd be sitting here tonight slating him for. But no, Doherty was nearly awarded man of the match for it. He had to be screened at half-time against Everton to come out in the second half and reminded where he was to try and get some sort of performance out of him. And then against United, he passed every single ball back inside to Bentancur for him to take responsibility. is not an option. Again, it's persistent with the same thing. We said the same under Jose about Doherty. We said the same under Nuno about Doherty. We're doing it now the same under Antonio Conte about Doherty. All these things people are saying, we've been saying for the last 3 managers at this football club about these same culprits. Funny enough, it's always them when things go bad, by the way. It's always them. Always. Who else have we got here? Who else? Come on, guys. You got Christian Van Wyk. He says, all right, David, disappointing evening. Conte in. We need better signings and new owners. Levy has got to go, man. Big yourself up, brother. Good to see you in the building. Couldn't agree more. Darren Cobain says, Dave, as you say, we will win nothing with Davies, Dyer, Sanchez. They're rubbish. I don't like people having a go at Conte. He will demand players in January. I mean, look, he demanded centre-backs in here in this summer, and we didn't deliver them. Didn't deliver them. Skunkwork says, big up, Dave. Keep the chin up. We go through a Champions League next round on Wednesday. Things will all turn. I bloody hope so. Because if not, we've got ourselves in a right little pickle. We then have to go to Marseille on an away game, one of the most difficult places in Europe to go to. Try and win that to get out of the group when our away form has been absolutely dog shit. So if we don't win it, we're in a huge pickle. Rob Reed says it's big sound football. Why not? Most goals come from set pieces. Big yourself up. Who else have we got in here? We've got Faz Radfar. He says it is crazy to even imagine we think about Conte out. These fans should wake up before too late. Conte was sorted out. Need all support. Shotty boy, big yourself up, my man. Good to see you in the building. Great to see you, actually, Shawnee. Great to see you, my man. Pop on. Let's have a conversation. Coy says, big up, David. Big yourself up, my man. Who else have we got here? We've got Mark Saunders. Says, all right, Dave, massive game on Wednesday. 100%. It's absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. But look, guys, I'm going to try and catch up with the chat here because I am absolutely light years behind. And then I'm just trying to block this illegal cam things that people put in. I know some people are saying, no, Dave, I need it tonight. We lost. I need to cheer it up, but no, I've got to get rid of it. I've got to get rid of it, guys. So I'm going to block it now. Done. And then welcome Spurs 72. Big yourself up. I'm Paddy Harnick. Good to see you. Paddy, you come on. Come on, have a say. Says, Dave, my week is ruined. These clowns have ruined it. The usual suspects need to be removed from our club, or else we can expect more pain. Yeah, like I said, it's like a cuckold exhibition here. No problem. Getting a new manager in. Same thing. We get a little bit of a performance out of them for a little while. Then they revert to type, and then we sit here going, oh, gee, it's the manager. It has got to be the manager. It's like a cuckold expedition here with these guys. It really is. We know what they're going to do. We let them away with it just to be set up and disappointed again. I don't know. But big up Spurs 72. Anyway, you guys are enough for hearing my croaky voice that is about to go. Let's start getting on the few guests that we have in the background. Big up Tyler Goretzka as well. He says, I'm very worried Conte will walk and Kane will soon be to follow. That's another thing. Conte goes, Kane's gone with him. So also be prepared for that. Oh, no, wait. People won't say that when they mention Conte out, won't they? They won't say, oh, by the way, Conte out, but that also means Kane is gone. They won't mention that. We'll not mention it. But look, enough for me. Let's get on some people. Dermot, my man. Fucking shit show today. You can see the headline. You can see the headline in the thing. Dierbolical, Dermot. I mean, where do we start? What's your thoughts?
Diabolical, Sanchobolical, Hugobolical. The whole fucking three of them need to be shot. Well, I wouldn't say shot, but need to be dropped for the next game. They need to go and all these people that call them for Conte to go. Do they remember what it was like under Nuno? Do they remember what it was like under Jose? With same thing again. Look, I've been a fan for just over 40 years. I can remember back in the 90s when we were shit, when we were fighting relegation. We never finished above 12th in the league. We've got a world-class manager who needs decent players to follow his instructions. Dyer, Sanchez, Davis, Hugo will never follow instructions because they're not fucking good enough. And the sooner people wake up to that, the fact, the better it'll be.
Dermot, what would you say to Chen Mehmet here, who says, who trains the team, picks the team, chooses the system, tell the team if we want to play on the front foot or not, our heels, and soak up and catch on the break. But you're right, it's not on Conte one bit. Now, look, again, you actually, Chen, you said the same under Jose, because I remember having debates with you about at the time in conversations and chats and all. You said the same thing. You said, oh, no, Someone else to come in here and do better. We got Nuno. How did it work out for you? Stop being so quick to always label the blame at the manager's door and look at the common denominator. Conte is not the one sitting here at centre-back being here for 8 years. Conte is not the one sitting here because being converted from left-back, a backup left-back to left-sided centre-back, has been sitting at this club 7 years making rookie errors. Davies is. Conte is not the one that's been here 5 years, only ever been a backup. Sanchez is. So the common denominator are these guys who continuously let us down and make all these other people look shit. You also complain about trophies, but yet you want to get rid of a guy that has a cabinet full, who has more trophies in his recent history than what Tottenham do. So how badly do you want trophies then? Sorry, Dermot, what would you say?
I agree with every word you say. He trains the play. If players cannot follow instructions, if he tells them, he's not telling them to kick the ball into a stand. He's not telling them, if a player goes by you.
You sure? Are you sure?
I don't know. He may do. Who knows? But I'm sure Conte's telling Hugo, I tell you what, if run out when you get a player, let him bounce off you and then fall over like you were diving off a diving board. But just stand there waving your hands around. And as for Dyer, you stand there too waving your hands around instead of running back and protecting the goal. A numpty like me would do that. You would do it, Dave. I'm sure half the people in the chat would fucking run back. Well, my job is now to protect the goal. The goalkeeper's out of position. It was a great goal by Wilson. I have to give him that. It was a great lob where he took it from. Fair play to him. And as for the second goal, we go missing again. We've got no confidence from Wednesday. The players that did play well, as soon as Dyer, Sanchez or Davis or Hugo make a mistake, the heads go down. And then all the mistakes come because the heads are down. But
look, Dermot, okay, we made one mistake. Fine. Game wasn't out of balance. We went 1-down to Newcastle last season and slapped them 5-1. Why could we not go on and pick ourselves up, go on and get back into the game and go on and make a good account of ourselves after the mistake has happened?
Because the players are not good enough, Dave. The players cannot follow instructions. They cannot do it. They haven't got a brain to do it. I mean, how many times people in the chat defending Dyer, defending the players, it's the manager's fault. We had this shit under Jose, as you said. We had this shit under Nuno. How bad Nuno was, we had the same shit under him. We got rid of a manager 6 days before a cup final. Took us to the top of the league. It was the best thing since sliced bread. Results go bad. It's not the players. It's the manager's fault. Poch, he took us to all these semi-finals and finals. And for people that want Poch back, I don't want him back. I don't want him back at Tottenham.
Yeah.
I don't think he... because I'm going to say something controversial now. He was a failure. Okay. He was a failure.
Dermo, no. Look, he was competing against teams with better money than him, but still got us to semi-finals, finals.
I understand that, Dave. I get that. He was a failure in the way that he didn't win us anything. That's what I mean. He was a failure. He's a failure because he wasn't successful. He got us to semi-finals. He got us to finals, but he didn't have the experience or somebody with him to get us over that line. Now, I didn't mean he was a failure in the sense he's a failure. I meant he was a failure of winning those trophies because Champions League final, he played Harry Kane, who was half fit.
Dermot, Chelsea thinks you're talking bollocks.
I normally do, but
I think failure is a bit strong, Dermot. No.
I think failure is the wrong word, but it was certainly what comes into my head, and I apologise for that.
People not happy, Dermot. You set up a fire here. Tacker, Luke Gaiman says a failure. Well, pull the other one. J Max says Poch failed because he wasn't backed.
Now that I would agree with. That's what I was trying to get at. I was trying to get, and maybe I sometimes the brain goes quicker than the gob. I must admit, sometimes when I'm angry, and after watching today, is angry. And you look back, we've got a manager that can win us something. He just needs time. Yeah. No,
look, I get what you're saying. Maybe you used the wrong word, but I do get what you were saying.
Yeah.
Look, I think it was more so maybe not having the know-how or the nous when he's coming up against managers who have been there. They've done it time and time again. So look,
Yeah.
but Uchechi makes a good point.
It does, yeah.
It was the most proudest we've been of our team in a long time.
It was nice to get to semi-finals and finals, but looking back, it's not a good thing. We need to start looking forward. Managers coming back to teams doesn't always work. It doesn't. We had David Pleat come back to us. It didn't work when he was caretaker. You got managers to come back. It doesn't work. Look, today was just so disappointing, but it's the same players. The point I'm trying to make is the players under him, Jose, Nuno, everything it's the same players, and them same players keep letting us down.
No, 100%. Kuva, I'll get your question to Dermot in a minute. I'll also throw in a bit of an answer on that. But Dermot, let's talk about Lloris right now. Yeah. I mean, look, he's had a few howlers this season. Let's be real. And like you can think of 3, 4, 5 games off the top of your head now where he's just being shown up. And look, absolutely great servant to Tottenham, great shot stopper. It's concerning that he could be so good against Man United and save us from embarrassment, and then kind of like embarrass us today.
Yeah.
Would you stick in Fraser Forrester midweek against Sporting, or would you stick with Hugo?
I would put Forrester in. I would drop Hugo for a game.
Why?
I think he, as you say, he's been a great servant to the club. He's a great shot stopper, but these mistakes keep happening again and again and again. I think there's no communication, or there's not enough communication between him and his backline. That's why the mistakes happen, because there's no communication between the two of them. And I think with Forrester, I think he's more mouthy, if you know what I mean, than Hugo. So I would put Forrester in for the next game. I think Hugo needs to be dropped. And I think the problem is we can't drop these players because we haven't got the players to replace them with.
Yeah.
And that's the problem we've got now. We may go for something in January. Who knows? We do need a replacement goalkeeper. I'm so angry we didn't go for Bazzuno. I thought he'd be ideally to come in for him, because his distribution of the ball, Dave, you know it yourself, is fantastic. It is well cut, and he can play with his feet as well. We need a goalkeeper that can play with his feet and distribute the ball properly. We just don't have the players to come in to replace these players, and this is where the January transfer market for me is going to be vital this season. It's going to be very vital.
No, 100%.
But 100%. I would drop Hugo for the next game.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm torn, Dermot. I'm torn. Because as good as Hugo Lloris can be, he also has a howler in him, and it's a big game. And Hugo does save his mistakes for big games, to be honest with you. It's kind of like, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do. Look, do you know what? Fuck it. I'll roll the dice. Give me Fraser Forrester against Sporting, and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
But Dermot, there's a lot of complaints tonight about the owners. Rightly so. I mean, everyone has some sort of grievance with them, and rightly so. But, you know, Kuva was saying here about the transfer window. Should we not be seeing better from the transfer window?
Firstly, I said to Kuva, it was a good transfer window. I've always said all the way along it was.
So is Kuva stretching them with the brilliant? Kuva, are you stretching, my man?
I said it was good. I've always said it was good.
Yeah.
Look, I'm trying to be very careful, because I'm not. Look, the owners can be blamed for a lot of things. The owners can be blamed for not backing the managers that we've had in the past. The owners can be blamed for a lot of things, but they cannot be blamed when the players, as Brian Daigle, as the players cross the white line. He cannot be held responsible. Yeah, he can be for not putting enough money to buy the new players. Look, it's the owners have a very love-hate relationship with the fan base. And as much as we're all angry with them and things haven't gone right, I think we need to start looking at the real problems, which is the players on the pitch, which is the players that keep letting us down all the time. I think we missed Højbjerg today. I think we did, though he does need a rest. But yeah, for me, the owners need to back Conte in January and next summer. There has to be an investment. If there's no investment January and summer, then I might have to rethink how I'm sitting with the Levy in. I'm sort of in the middle.
Yeah. You gave it a chance.
I always said I would give him this season under Conte, and we've had the summer. We've got some good players in. We're going to see what happens January and next summer. As long as Conte is there, I'd be happy. I think at the time and also early in the summer, I may have thought it was a brilliant window, but looking back on it and being more, looking back, it is a good window, and we need a good January and we need a good summer next year. We need players in, we need centre backs, we need right wing backs, we need a creative midfielder, and we need another striker up front, I think.
No, 100%. But you know what, Dermot? I was like, look, we had a very good start to the transfer window. We got a lot of business done early, and ultimately it ended up being an anticlimax. But what I will say is, we've got rid of the French mafia, the Welsh mafia, the cricket organizer in the dressing room. You know what I mean? This, that, and the other. Joe Hart got rid of a lot of them guys the guys that were taking the piss out of the football club, walking around not performing, thinking they could do what they wanted to do. What we then done is we had to replace a lot of them guys. So we brought in numbers in here in the summer, solid professionals. Look, some of them should have hit the ground running better, like Basuma, like Richarlison, considering they know the Premier League. But like we always said, you know, defender, we would have liked another defender in here, and we were always going to be left short. And I think just that situation now where I just think, look, we're just going to have to show a bit of patience. If not under Conte, under who? But it's going to have to happen. Going to have to show manager patience, let him make the squad the majority his. And we're just, look, as much as it fucking kills me.
It does.
It's just a bit of patience. We're going to have to show patience right now. And look, I know the next argument is, patience, 21 years. I get it. Fully get it. But under Conte and White Paratici's here, I'm willing to give it a bit of patience because I do believe our recruitment is a lot better than what Steve Hitchen was bringing in here, Kuva. Look, big yourself up.
I think the problem lies for Steve Hitchen. There's still a mess what he made, and we're still in the middle of clearing that up. And these players that for 8 years that have been here that keep making mistakes, we can't move them on because nobody will buy. So we've got to bring in players to play this. We can move on from that era. You laugh, you cry.
Yeah. You're chopping in and out, Dermot. I think you've got a problem with your internet, my man.
All right. I'll leave it then, Dave. I think already.
Huh?
I think I've got enough men ready. If you
look, I'll plug your channel, Dermot. I'll plug your channel for you, brother. All right?
Yeah. All right. All right. Sorry about that, Dave. Thanks, man.
You're back now.
Yeah. Sorry. It's a bit wet and windy here in Wexford, so the internet is a bit dodgy tonight.
Yeah. Dermot, I want to talk about maybe them first sort of 20 minutes. We did play well. We created a couple of chances. We didn't take them. Did we pay the price for it today?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're quite hit on the nail on that one. I think we did pay for them. We paid for them. We paid for not taking our chances. If you don't take the chances in the Premier League, you will be punished by anybody. Look, Newcastle are up and coming side. They've got the money for the owners. Well, that's another different subject altogether. Newcastle, they will buy and they will have the money to back their manager. We've now compete with them. We're not just competing with Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. We're competing with the Newcastle as well. We've got to compete with them because if we're not careful, we can end up behind them. We can be a top 6 side instead of a top 4 side. We need to we need to back them, and we need to take our chances because if we don't, then But this wasn't Conte's fault today. This was players making individual mistakes at the and it cost us. And we've got to learn this. I'm sick and saying we've got to learn by.
Yeah, I think we're all sick of it, Dermot. But look, your internet's screwing you up, my man. It's screwing you up. So look, big up, Dermot. I really appreciate you coming on, brother, and we'll see you again very, very soon, my man.
Yeah, I'll see you again.
I'll give you a phone call in a while, my man.
Yeah, all right,
man.
Okay.
Everybody get over, check out THFC Till I Die. Smash that subscribe button. Check it out. You've got Ellie, you've got Philip Brady over there as well, along with Dermotron. So get over there and check it out. Ollie, big up, Ollie. Hope you're keeping well, my man. He says, big up, Dave and Jack, creating excellent content for the fans. On the good and bad days, I am pissed off at Tottenham at the min. Going to take some time out for a day or two, but wanted to show support. Ollie, brother, really appreciate that, my man. You're really too kind. Look, I'm just as pissed off, my man. I'm absolutely pissed off. To be honest with you, I just want to cry. Not cry, but I just want to get angry. You know, in fact, actually, Ollie, on the watch along earlier, I had to walk away to go and have a cigarette because it was stressing me out that much. And I thought I put myself on mute, and I didn't. And then everyone else could hear me effing and blinding and ranting and raving in the background, my man. And I just feel like I need to do that again when this is over. But big up, Ollie. Really appreciate the support, my man. Go and clear the head. Get a good night's sleep. Look, it's just sad, Ollie. Sad, my man. It should have been a win today. Anything I'd say coming into this game, anything but a win is unacceptable. And today's result is unacceptable, my man. But big yourself up, brother, and really appreciate the support. Big up Benjamin Coffey. The calf man, he says, can you smell what the calf is brewing? Big up, Benji. Hope you're keeping well. He says, sounds harsh, but time to drop Lloris. It's time. And we had a new leader at the helm. Couldn't agree more. I mean, that's your captain, Ben. That's your captain doing that today. That's your captain that done that against Arsenal. Captain that high-fived everyone against Sporting when we conceded from the set piece next. You know, captain that kicked the ball out against West Ham when he was not under no pressure where they scored from. He's making a lot of clangers, man. A lot of clangers. Should we breathalyze him, Benji? Should we give him a breathalyzer now? I think it's kind of getting to that point. But big yourself up, Benji. Good to see you, my man. But look, we're going to get the next guy on. His audio at the start was a bit dodgy, so we're going to see how it goes. Young Putty says, how can I get on? Young Putty, my man, simply go to the community section in the channel. I'm getting the hiccups now. Bear with me, guys. I'm on my own. I'm riding solo. I just need some luxurious rock shandy to make me feel a bit better and get rid of my hiccups. Rock Shandy, by the way, is a mix between Club Orange and Club Lemon. It's absolutely gorgeous. Paddy Harnett, you know what I'm talking about, brother. But, yeah, just simply go to the community section in the channel, lad. And the link is there for fan show members. Just simply click on the link, get on here and have your say, brother. Big yourself up, young Putty. If you're having problems, let me know. But look, let's keep moving. Let's see how Ryan's internet is. Mr. Tristan. Oh, maybe it's my internet. Maybe it's mine. Who knows? Ryan, how are you keeping, man?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Before I obviously start, I am going to have won't be with F, thankfully, because I got all on Friday. So, and by the way, I do apologise to Ellie if her kid did hear anything, and I did. Even though I did apologise in the chat, I do apologise again.
Look, we all let our emotions get the best of us, Ryan. We all let our emotions get the best of us. I mean, I swear all the time. Yeah. Over here, we just use it as a full stop. But look, Ryan, where do you want to start today, my man? I mean, there's so many things.
I actually just wanted to have, like I said, I wanted to have a little rant, and then we can get into the big, juicy talking points after. We need to get that ball out. I said it on Friday, and I'm just going to say it in nicer terms this time. They are absolute clowns. They need to get out, and the quicker they get out, the quicker we can bring in a better backline. I said in August, Dave, you heard me say we need to bring in another CB, right? To be honest, because if the longer we keep these two idiots in charge of our club, we're not going to get a better centre back in. We're not going to get any of this. You know, it's an absolute joke. I don't want to say no more, Dave, because I know I will start cursing. So I want to just leave that one there about the rant now. So, yeah. performance. I honestly thought it was just the Man United game where I thought that it was just going to be them just staying at home. But I'm more on the urge of saying keep Conte in, but get this balled out. And it's the same thing.
By all
It's the
means,
same.
Conte has to be kept here. Conte has to be kept, in my opinion, Ryan.
Yeah, he has to. And do you know what, right? Whoever thinks that Conte needs to leave, then you're lying to yourself. Because do you know what? It's a bit. I heard what you said at the beginning, right? Mourinho couldn't have been wrong. Nuno couldn't be wrong, and Conte can't be wrong. It's a bit weird that 3 managers are apparently wrong, but then, okay, I'd understand one of the 3 being wrong, yeah, and I can probably understand it would probably have been Nuno, if anybody, right, being wrong. But then how are you meant to expect that Mourinho's meant to work with a backline of rejects? Because he never even had that at Man United, did he?
Yeah.
Let alone at any of the other clubs he's been at in the past.
Yeah.
And he's performed well, right? And then you've got Conte, who never even had it at Milan or Chelsea, for that matter. So we sacked 2 good managers. We sacked. Well, I don't want to say 2, but
are you getting bored by the style of play, though, Ryan?
No, like I said at the beginning, Dave. When I first jumped on, I said I don't care how we win. I just want to win. I don't care how we win. I've said this so many times, Dave. I feel like I'm going around and around in circles saying the same thing about this all the time. I don't care how we win. Right, the last time we won the FA Cup was the year I was born, and that was what 30, going on 31 years ago.
Yeah, look, it's way too long without a meaningful trophy. But look, what's the real key issues of what's going on right now? If you don't believe Conte should go, which, look, I like your opinion, I'm not going to lie. What does have to happen then, Ryan? Where do we go from here? What has to happen? What's the problem? Because
there's one of 2 options that now.
Go on.
Yeah, there's one of 2 options at this point where we go, right? We either get rid of that whole backline apart from Romero. Everyone apart from Romero, right? So before anyone starts hitting out at me and saying even Romero, I'm not saying Romero. Romero stays altogether. There's no doubt about that. Romero has to stay. He's the best defender we got at the club. But the rest of them, go. Please. There's the door. I'll pay for your ticket to go anywhere. I will send you out. I don't care where you go. Go to I don't know, Barcelona, or go to somewhere in Spain. Have a year off. Go. We don't want you here. But then, or right, we get rid of these bunch of clowns, and we bring in some new owners. To be honest, right, I would love to see the owners go, and then just get rid of them now, right, and have the fans take over until we can find the right appointment for the new
take over. I don't trust us. We all have different opinions. Some of us will want Conte back in the job. Some of us want him out. We can't take over. We can't do it.
Well, no, but the board needs to go. Is the only other option, really. Like, I don't care how they go. I don't care whether Joe Lewis says, "Well, no, I can't be asked to spend no more money." I don't care. I don't care whichever Tom, Dick, or Harry it goes. Right? I don't care. They just need to go. They get out of our club. Yeah. They're poisoning our club. And to be honest, I also wanted to. I don't know if Brian Daigle's on at the moment or not.
He was in the chat. I'm not sure if he still is, but go on.
All right. Well, Brian, I was just going to actually hit this to you, mate. If there was no change on between now and by the time you get back over by January, I was going to say, why don't you get enough people down there, and I'll be willing to join around.
What?
Oh,
Is it me?
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know.
I'm not sure I can hear you.
Give me a sec. Give me one
Yeah,
second, Ryan. Everybody in the chat, let me know if it's me just quickly. Is it me that's freezing? Just get in the chat and let me know quickly. Is it me? Is it me? It's KPV. He's next, but let me know. That would be nice if someone could put in a comment, just say, no, Dave, it's not you, or yes, Dave, it is you. Kiwi Ida says strongest side to the next transfer window. No, it's not me. It's not me. Good, 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 good. Absolutely love it. Ryan, we've got you back. No, we don't have you back.
All right.
No, I don't know what's going on right now. I haven't a clue what's going on, my man. Come back on tomorrow. Come back on tomorrow.
God. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear you now. No, you're gone again. You're gone again. Right now, my man. Either log out and log back in and we'll get you back in the queue, or else just come back on tomorrow, my man. But look, we're gonna keep this going. Let's keep going. Who have we got? We got KPV. KPV, how are you, brother?
All good. Just pissed off from the result.
Yeah. What's hurt you most today? What's your biggest takeaway from the game that's pissed you off, Kyle?
It's got to be Dyer and Lloris. Like, yeah, like I don't know where Callum Wilson was supposed to go. Like, for me, that goal should have been disallowed because I saw it. Everyone saw it. Lloris was fouled. Even Ben Foster tweeted out saying that goal had to be disallowed.
Yeah, do you think it should have been a free kick to
Yeah,
Lloris? I do as well, Kyle.
Yeah, it should have been a free kick to us. Like, we were at home, they're away. Like, their away record at our ground is poor. They've only won once, and that was when we had Poch. That was our second game of the season, I think. That was our second game, and fortunately we lost. But they've come to our ground again, and they've won twice and drawn one and lost once. And for some reason, we can't seem to beat them. We've only won once. They've won twice. But
KPV, on the free kick decision, my man. Look, I do think it's a free kick. Hugo Lloris knocked the ball by him and he was taken out. But could Hugo Lloris have been stronger there rather than going down and looking for the free kick? Could he have been a bit more manly about it?
yeah, it could have been a bit more manly like that. It should have been manned enough to go back to the goal line like Eric Dyer, like Eric Dior, as Jack says. It's Eric Dior.
Honestly, there'd be a lynch mob chasing Jack through New York if he calls him that tonight. And I'll be the head of it, KPV.
Yeah. Like, he should have gone back to the line and stopped the goal from going in, but he didn't stop. Like, good goal by Callum Wilson. I have to give it to him. Great goal. But then the second goal, we just kicked the ball out. Miguel Almiron's probably having the season of his life. Like, he's scoring so many goals, but Kane record continues. 10 goals.
Just on Almiron's goal, KPV. I mean, who do you blame from that? I mean, it started with Hugo Lloris having fucking canoes for boots, you know. It then says Young just weak, completely weak. Langley, even worse, wink and immobile. I mean, who do you blame for that goal?
I'll probably blame Langley, even though he's only new to the club. We only bought him on loan, but he has to go back in January to Barcelona. But not good. I blame Langley, I'm afraid. I know everyone's probably going to blame me because he's from France, but you have to blame the Frenchman. I know Lloris says they're the only two French players we got. But yeah, just a bad day at the office, 2 defeats. It's February all over again. Losing 2 games in the space of 4, 5, or 6 days. 3-2 to Southampton, 2-0 to Wolves, and now this. 2-0 to United, now 2-1 at home against Newcastle. February all over again. Like, what is going wrong at our club? Like,
okay, BB, let me ask you, what do you think is the problem, brother? Because, look, we were flying last spring, absolutely flying the back in last season. This season, and we've had 6 players brought in here. The squad has improved, no doubt. But we're not seeing it on the football pitch. We're not seeing it in terms of performances. What do you think is the problem?
I think it's the defense that's the problem. Like, it's not Conte, it's not the others, it's just the defense that's the problem. Like, Romero out, like, it's basically the same as last season. He missed the remaining games due to injury. He suffered at Anfield. Like, now, I don't know why he'd start Emerson, because Emerson did actually have a good game. Like, I think he was our best player today. Like, he was our only best player. Like, Bentekers, as Ellie calls him, Bentancur, just didn't play great. He didn't play well. He wouldn't defend, like, kept passing the ball backwards. And Eric Dior nearly done a Kieran Trippier, passing the ball back to Lloris, nearly went in an own goal. It's that from 2019 own goal, and that's what's been the problem. Like, we need a different backline. Like, Romero stays, but the rest can just go. Like, we need to look in January for another backline, few players that can cover Romero. And but
I
it was
want
out to them.
to ask you about something in 1 second, Kyle. I want to ask you about Conte, but J Max says Pep, Klopp, Potter, Ten Hag, even Mr. Lego Man, all tactically astute, attacking-minded coaches. Conte needs to reinvent his methods, compete with these guys. Man, we're sitting there in third. He is literally competing with these guys. He's literally, in fact, he's actually ahead of Ten Hag. He's actually ahead of Potter, and he's ahead of Klopp. He's literally competing with these guys. Literally. But look, KPV, Conte, you know, some people are backing him to the hilt. Some people are blaming him, and some people are calling for him out. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? Oh, my man.
I disagree. Like, I'm sorry, but Conte out, you clearly don't support Tottenham. Like, you want him out. You're like, you wanted Poch out. He got to a Champions League final. Now you want this man who's won trophies everywhere he's been. Like, he was brought in to win us trophies, not top four. That wasn't the plan, but we all wanted to finish top four just to finish above the field, get back in the Champions League. This competition means everything to us, and this is a chance for us to win. We've not won it. Like, we want, like, this guy was brought in to win, and some people are calling for his head like they were with Poch. Like,
you think he should be doing better though, Kyle? Because that's why people are disgruntled at the minute. Should he be doing better? Should we be seeing better football?
Probably should be seeing better football, but like everyone said, we need to give him time. He just needs money to get the players that he wants, and that, parasite Daniel Levy isn't just doing that. He, like, in the summer, he finally listened to us. We wanted 150 million, and he was going to back Conte, and he did, but looks like he isn't listening to us again. Like, Conte wanted the players that he wanted, but he probably did. But the players we have at the moment, like, get rid of the ones that we do have. Like, anyway, Sanchez isn't good enough. The others aren't. Like, maybe we just need to get some more in to start challenging. But we're in the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and Champions League. But we've got
Right now, it seems like we're a long way off that, KPV.
I know, like, we've got with Nottingham Forest to contend with in the Carabao Cup, which we've already beaten them. So Teddy Sheringham derby again, but Bournemouth next weekend. Kane loves a goal against Bournemouth. Ronaldo does as well, and so
Kane scoring goal number 10 this evening, Kyle. Maybe the only positive. You know, Kane racking up goal number 10. What do you make of his form this season?
This is probably his best start to a Premier League season he's had. Like, since that 2021 season, him and Son were assisting each other. Like, but unfortunately that didn't happen tonight. I think, but Kane hitting goal number 10. Like, next weekend, goal number 11 and 12 or 13 hat trick. Like, I know Haaland's got more, but like, he only scored 2 yesterday, and Kane's got 1. But Kane will catch. But Wednesday, like, who do we start in goal? Fraser Forster or Lloris? But
Who would you start?
Well, I'd probably start. Obviously, I have to stick with Hugo because I know people want Lloris drop, but I'd probably stick with Lloris because this is the competition that Hugo's played in for a long time. Like
Mm.
he played in with Lyon and Tottenham for a long time, but Fraser
Are you
Forster.
not maybe nervous we could see another classic Hugo clanger? We've seen a lot of them this season, Kyle.
Well, yeah, but like Fraser Forster, like if we can see the penalty, he's going to go the wrong way, Fraser. So Lloris has saved penalties, but yeah, like if we can see, he saves them. But yeah, like I just hope he doesn't do that like he has done already this season. But Wednesday, he needs to do better. Then, like we, I think if we win the game, we go through. But we've got Marseille away. I think in just a few weeks before the, well, after the Liverpool game, who I must say have been shocking. But yeah, I'd probably stick with Hugo. But yeah, give Fraser Forster a chance in the Premier League, like when Conte does, but he doesn't pick him, like, and he doesn't trust Spence. Like, not, I don't like what he's doing, but yeah, the boss decides. But when's he gonna come on? Like, I think it's time for Lucas to go because he wants to go back to Brazil.
Yeah.
But
What do
thanks,
you make of what do
yeah.
you make of Ollie Skip today, KPV? Yeah, first start in a long time since his injury. Do you think he had a good game today?
Yeah,
Were you happy with him?
I think Skippy, yeah, had a good game, but yeah, got yellow carded and didn't want to risk him getting a red. We didn't want him to do an Emerson Royale getting sent off. Like, didn't want him to do that. So
Mm.
I thought he had a good game, but people probably going to say he was not that great. But he's Tottenham through and through, signed a new contract, and yeah, here's to many more years to come. But yeah, I'd probably start him on Wednesday but
Mm.
Højbjerg, I think Ben and Barry or Nick said that Højbjerg should be available for Wednesday, but yeah, Romero is not confirmed, but yeah, he keeps.
I hope Romero's back because if not, we're going to be dealing with idiot again. So
Yeah,
you know,
idiot again.
I really hope Romero's back. Højbjerg
Yeah,
will be absolutely crucial. We missed his creativity today. Look, just shambolic
yeah,
or even
symbolic.
or KPV.
Yeah,
But look,
symbolic as well.
any message you want to send to the Spurs fans before I let you go, brother?
Yeah, I just want to send a message to all the Spurs fans out there. Get behind the team and stop saying Conte out. You're going on social media saying hashtag Conte out. But if you're gonna keep doing that, then just don't watch our club anymore because you're not a true hero. You want a manager who's won everything where he's been, but he was brought in to win trophies and we're still in those competitions. Like we actually have a chance to win something. Like Arsenal fans keep saying on, you haven't won anything since 2008 or 99, but we want to shut these lot up. We have a chance.
Time.
They're not going to win the league. They're not going to win it like City will because they're just too good. So let's get behind the team on Wednesday. Then the weekend, we got Bournemouth away. Our record is brilliant because we got Bournemouth. We won when I went to that game in 2019, and fortunately, we couldn't beat them out there when there was no fans during a pandemic. Like we were shocking, but let's beat Bournemouth away because they didn't win. They lost to Southampton, and they're playing tomorrow against the Spammers. So, but probably want a Bournemouth win, but then
Yeah.
we'll beat them on the weekend. But yeah, everyone just back Conte, be patient. We'll win something this season. Just get behind the team, back Conte, and yeah, enjoy the game Wednesday and don't drink too much.
I'll try if I'm not watching it behind the couch, KPV, to be honest with you. If I see that back line, and if it gets even worse by rolling out, the ultimate trio, Ben Davies, Dyer, and Sanchez, I'll probably I'm going to watch the game. I know I am, but I'm going to do it with fear for sure. But KP, big yourself up, brother.
Yeah,
Great to see you as always. You're becoming a fan favourite around all these fan channels, my man.
yeah. And as always, Levy out. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Big
Yeah,
up KPV.
big up.
Big up, my man. I don't even think the guy means it, but he absolutely cheers me up every single time I see him. Big up KPV. What an absolute legend. Big up United Spurs of America. I think we're all down, brother. We're all down, my man. I just want to go, get into the bed, sandwich my head between two pillows and just forget about everything, my man. But big yourself up. But look, we've got the last guest of the evening. Let's get her on. It is the one and only Mia. Mia, how you keeping?
Yeah, not too bad. I've watched a movie, calmed down a little bit, spoken to my brother for about 10 minutes about the football because we said we wouldn't talk about it too much because otherwise we wind ourselves up. But it's fine. It's fine. I've calmed myself down a little bit.
Look, where do we start, Mia? I mean,
well, you know what? I want to say a few little points because obviously when other people are talking, I've got all these things whirring around my head to trying to say, and then they come up with a point, and So, but what I wanted to say was absolutely Bentancur was not the worst player today. I thought Bentancur was actually very good. I think our midfield and our attack weren't awful at all. When you look at the chances they actually created, what did they actually create? Because I said this to my brother. I said, listen, they didn't really create a lot. It came from our backline mistakes. That's why they scored goals. It wasn't because we didn't attack. That first half, we controlled that game. Absolutely, I felt like we was in control until they made the mistakes. The backline made the mistakes, and that's where we failed. And it wasn't nothing to do with how we came out. I thought we started quite positively. I didn't think that we were on the back foot. I thought Sonny straight away was trying to take shots, you know. So I didn't think it was actually awful. We didn't start awful. It's that backline that cost us today. Basically, it's the defence. It was the defence that cost us. Nothing to do with Bentancur, nothing to do with with Sonny, with Kane. Okay, maybe they could have taken their chances, but that happens in games. But if they didn't make those stupid mistakes, I think that made us nervous and that made us change, I think.
But Maria, do you think the signs were before that? Because you could see it. Eric Dyer played 2 balls into the stand, played another one back to the restart for a corner kick, miscontrolled a number of balls. Sanchez was starting to do the same. Were the warning signs before then? What do you think is wrong with Eric Dyer? Like, why is he so rattled?
I always think that Dyer reminds me a bit of like a meathead. No one of those guys who's like really big and beefy but got no brains. Like, I don't think if he rattles his head, there's just like a little ting 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 sound. I don't think there's much. I don't think there's much in there. Like, I really don't. And Sanchez is just like. He's a bit like ADHD, like he's all over the place, like he hasn't got a clue what's going on. He's like up, down, he's like, I'm up, I'm down, I'm left, I'm right, I'm up, I'm down, I'm left, I'm right. Like, he's got no clue, like he's got no calming presence. Like, I find when we've got Romero there, he's that calming presence. Like, he just is very calm, isn't he? When he takes the ball, you know, he's a very calm, level-headed. But with them two, it's like Dumb and Dumber, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. So they're making those mistakes, and obviously that made us nervous, and then we made the mistake and we conceded the goal, and I think that made then everybody a bit more edgy and nervous, and then we conceded a second goal, which again was their fault. Who was the backline's fault? So, like, to me, that's what caused us the problems today. That was the most ridiculous, like it was like clown music. It really was. Or Benny Hill. We could put that on the background of it. And it wouldn't, and you would have thought it was a Benny Hill movie, like, or show, or whatever it is. Like, you would have thought it, because they were absolutely diabolical.
Do you know what? I absolutely, completely agree with you. And I think even Claude came in here and said it a minute ago in the chat as well. He went back and sort of looked at the game. And he said, hang on, first 20, 30 minutes, we were actually, 20 minutes, we were all right until individual mistakes happened. And it's look, Maria, do you find yourself mentioning the same things over the last same sort of 3 managers? Because a lot of it today is being made of Conte, blaming him for the style of play. Lloris, look, I presume you're going to touch on, has got a lot of the blame. Eric Dyer seems to be escaping relatively okay. But, I mean, just what's your thoughts on it right now? Because we're very quickly, if we don't win the next game, we're very quickly spiraling out of control, I would say, very, very quickly if we don't win the next game.
Yeah, no,
on the door already. I can see it.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I do think that, like I say, we've got Romero in, but we need to change something in that back line. Like that, our defence has always seems to been a bit of a problem. Like, okay, when we had like Jan and obviously Toby, it was different. Like they were a different level. Like I don't think we're ever going to have two defenders the same as them. Do you know what I mean? Like they were just out of this world. I still hold them very dear to my heart. I love
Yeah, I
Toby
think
and I
we
love
all do.
Jan. Like, you know, because they were brilliant for our club. But I do think we do need to replace them. We do need to do something with that back line, because I think that is very important to a Conte team, because the way Conte plays, he needs to have those solid defenders. So then we are solid at the back, and then we can use our wingers and go out wider, because that's how he plays. And as for the style of play, I'm sorry, but these people who say about his style of play, has his style of play not won him everything that he's won? Like he's won so much, and people are doubting his style of play. And not every team has to play the same style of football to win. So this style of football thing, I think, is just it's just overrated, because at the end of last season we were scoring goals for fun. Was that not good to watch? It's just now he's now got some players in that he wanted, but he still hasn't got everybody, because he needs more windows. And he's alluded to that on more than one occasion, that he needs more time to get more of his players in. And that probably does include decent defenders, because, you know, like I say, he likes a certain type of defender. So I think that's so important to him. And I think that's what he's going to be looking at as a matter of urgency for us, because I think then he'll feel like he's got a secure back line, as that is letting us down time and time again.
Yeah.
And a goalkeeper, obviously, I do think Lloris has come to the end. I do think he has his moments where he has saved us. But today has just shown that he has got so many weaknesses, that you see other goalkeepers, even in lower teams, that have got better goalkeepers than us. You look at them and you're just like, oh, they're good. Like they are good. And I just think Lloris is kicking out. That today he made a massive mistake. If he would have stayed back on his line, he wouldn't have conceded that first goal. He came out, he made an absolute kerfuffle of it, and I don't think that it was a foul. I've got to be honest. I think he was weak.
Do
I
you
think
think
he
he
was
went down
weak.
too easy? Think he should have been more fan about it? Tried to
Yeah, like,
be
I'm
stronger.
sorry, but even me, I would have stood my ground. Like, come on, I'm 4'11". I still would have stood my ground. I still would have been like, no, mate, you're not getting past me.
Yeah.
But the fact is that he didn't, and he went down because he thought, oh, I'll get the foul, and he didn't, and it cost us. So he's obviously weak-minded as well to do that, because he thought, oh, I'm going to get the foul. It's all right, I'll get the foul, and he didn't get it. So yeah, that was a huge mistake.
Do you know what? The reason why I say it's a foul, because I've seen them given. Today it wasn't. Look, I agree. I do think he went down like a sack of shit. I think he went down way too easy. But Maria, I've got two questions now off the back of Hugo Lloris. I want to talk about the captaincy now in a minute, but where I want to start with it is Hugo Lloris finished, or do you think we'll be able to get the year out of him? The reason why I say finished is because he's cost us about 4 or 5 games this year.
Yeah, no, I do think that I've started to be a bit more wavering towards that way, where before I wasn't, because I'd thought, no, against Man United, it could have been more. And it was thanks to him. He did put the best before, like he was the best player out there on the pitch when it was Man United. But then he has cost us in other games. So it's a really difficult one. But I am now, like today, when he did that first mistake, that was just ridiculous. Like, honestly, that was, that was just silly, and I just think it is time. I feel like we should have got someone in who was going to replace him in summer, and bled them in a bit and had his guidance there, and then bled them in a little bit, so then that way they wouldn't be chucked in the deep end, and they could have been settled in a bit better and then taken over. But now it's like, who are we going to get in? Because we're going to have to get someone who's going to come straight in, and then who are we going to get? Like, it's going to be one of those of who are we going to get that we're going to be able to trust. It is difficult with goalkeepers. It is very difficult.
Unfortunately, I'm starting to fear we've left it too late. I'm starting to fear it, to be honest with you. Just from what I see of the guy, there's too many mistakes creeping into his game. I'm fearful. I am fearful. Look, hopefully he can produce another world against Sporting, but we'll wait and see. But he's captaincy as well. I mean, surely it's time to start talking about the leadership. Your captain cannot be costing you games and goals at the rate he's costing us. It can't
Yeah,
happen.
I would like to see someone in the middle of the field be captain. I do think that. I've always sort of been that kind of way as well, because I feel like him shouting from the back, like, it's just, yeah, you can't get your point across as much. Like, I do think that. So I wouldn't mind seeing someone more central be the captain, if I'm honest. But
Yeah,
then it's who do you get? Højbjerg, maybe I would say, is probably one of my top ones. I would say, because he's very vocal. You know, he's very much. You can tell he's got that leader like thing about him. Like, you know, he'll kind of get the players and sort of like sort them out. So I think he's probably somebody I would trust. I don't know, like people saying Kane, but I'm not sure. I know Kane's captain for England, but. I don't know with Kane. I'm a bit like, I don't know if he vocalizes enough or gets his point across enough. Where I think that with Højbjerg, he can get his point across better, I think.
you're like me. You prefer someone that is vocal, and if someone doesn't do what they say, they have the physicality to be able to kick the shit out of them until they do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because he's like a bit more like, you wouldn't want to have him in your face telling
Yeah,
you, like, giving you a bollocking. Like, you do not want that. So like, I think he is somebody that because like Harry Kane, no offense, but are you like, I think, would you be worried or scared of him? Not really. Like, I wouldn't even be scared of Kane. If I was his kid and he told me to go sit on the naughty step, I'd be like, nah, not really.
yeah.
Like, he just hasn't got that about him where he's strict, or like, you know, you can't, like, he is somebody who's like a bit more of a quiet leader, if that makes sense. And I think we need someone who's more vocal. I think that is really important, to have somebody who's more vocal, to tell them, like, to shout at them and give them what for if they don't do as they're told.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. Look, I do think we need to change the captain as well. I do think it's also starting to have a bearing on our performances, because there's no one out there screaming and shouting. They're all looking around at each other like numpties, because there's no leader out there. They're looking for a leader, looking for instructions, looking for someone to inspire them, and it's just not there. So for me, I do think we really need to consider that as well. But Maria, anything else? Any other points? Anything else that you have on
I
your
think
list that you want to get off your chest?
I think that the Conte out thing again, I'm still like, this is bloody, it's ridiculous. It's just fucking ridiculous. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you seriously want? If you want Conte out, like, what do you want? I can't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes zero sense to say Conte out when he is a class manager who's won. He knows how to win. He just needs to get his players in. We just need to give him time. When you look at all the other managers in the Prem that have done well, look at Pep. Look at Klopp, even Lego Man, he's done well because they've given him more windows and time. And Conte just needs time. I just don't think people understand that we can't just magic. We can't just click our fingers. We haven't got giraffe money. We've got money. Yeah, I understand. People go, we've got money, but we haven't got giraffe money. And places, teams like Chelsea, like City, and now even Newcastle, even though they didn't spend a lot, they have got giraffe money. We are a bit different. We can't just go and buy replace every player in the squad in one window. It's just not going to happen. And also, it's about what Conte wants. He has to get players that he wants. We all say we want him to be backed, and that means Conte's got to get players he wants. So if he has to wait a little bit maybe to get the player that he wants, and he is going to wait, say, till January to get a player that he wants, then why are we moaning? It's a player that he wants. Surely that's what we want. That's what we've all said. We want him to get his players. So I don't know what this Conte out business is. Just absolutely ridiculous. It's honestly, people are just so dumb. I just think you're just being like dumb. If you're saying Conte out, who do you want? And if you're saying Poch back, what Poch you played pretty football but won us nothing. He still won us nothing with that pretty football. It still got us nowhere. We still got into final and lost a final because of him. He made the mistake by playing Kane in the Champions League final. Sorry, but I've always stood by that. I was there at the stadium watching it with my brother, and I said, as soon as Kane come out on the list, I was like, no, the team list, I was like, hey, we're going to lose. I knew. So to me, that's obviously something that I wouldn't want my ex back. yeah, because my ex is a loser. I don't want my ex back. So no, that's not. No, we're not doing this. This is silly. Like, it's sentimental. We
Let me
can't keep.
ask you this: do we have the players for another manager to come in here and get us to play this amazing modern way of football?
No, we don't. I just don't understand. Like, people forget Poch played young players. Like, he had all quite young players, and they built into, like, they've built into his philosophy. Like,
Mm.
they obviously, that's why he likes younger players, because he can give them his philosophy, and they're more likely to listen because they're not set in their ways. And so, who are we going to get in to play this pretty football everyone we're expecting to play with the players that we've got? Like, even if they got some of the players they wanted, it still wouldn't be. People just want to emulate Poch again, but we can't. That's never going to probably happen, because that was something very special, and it always will hold a special place in our hearts, and we'll always love him for that. But that's not going to be done again, and people keep being sentimental about it, and there's just no point of being sentimental. You just need to move on. That's your
Well,
ex.
is there any guarantee that Poch will be the next one in here? Like, I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'd love to have him back and get him back." Is there any
No,
guarantee that he will come back? Because we
no,
said on
there
the
isn't.
Nagelsmann was coming, or when Jose was here, Nagelsmann was coming in here, and we end up getting Nuno.
Yeah, exactly. We can't guarantee that Poch even would want to come back. And why would we want him back? Like, I just think that you can't expect him to come in and do exactly the same thing. It's not going to happen. And people are just like, think I said it in the group chat. What a lot of people do is that when you break up with someone, you always try and remember the good things, because you want to try and make it out like it was the perfect relationship, like everything was dandy. But when you go really when you look back, really, you think, actually, there was this, there was that. I should have thought about those warning signs and stuff like. No, like, but everyone tries to be all this like lovey-dovey perfect, but Poch wasn't perfect. Nobody is perfect. So I just think people hold Poch on this pedestal up high, and I think it's ridiculous, because Conte is a winning manager, and if we do, like last season we got fourth. I don't know what people's expectations at the beginning of the season was, because I wouldn't expect for us to challenge for a title, for a Prem. I was never expecting that this season, no way, because I knew that it'd take time for him to get his players in. So I knew that Conte wouldn't really be able to do it. Now we're third. People are complaining that we're not challenging for a Prem, and I'm like, are you really thinking that? Because to me, that's a little bit of a high expectation. To me, we need to finish in the top four comfortably and win something. That's my expectation. And challenging for a Prem, I think, is too much. And we've lost 3 games so far this season. If you go back on Poch's seasons, did he have a good start like this? Did he only lose 3 matches after this amount of games? He didn't. So I just don't understand the logic. We have started well, and people are comparing it to Poch when Poch never even did this. He never even got us in this position after this amount of matches. So why are people complaining? Like, I just don't get the complaints. Like, I kind of get it. We get upset about individual games, and like, obviously today was a complete disaster, and I'm fuming about it. But in the grand scheme of things, we do need to kick ourselves up the arse and start winning again. Otherwise, it could go very wrong. But if we do start winning again, and we are still third, and that's how we end the season, then I really think, well, I don't know what people's expectations was, if I'm honest. Like, did anyone seriously think we'd be contending for a title?
But you know what? When Tottenham have you up in that position, it's kind of like, it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? They have you up there. They're getting results when you're not playing, and you're thinking, look, surely it's going to click.
Listen, I've supported Tottenham for long enough to realise that the hope is pointless. Like, don't set your standards so high. It's a bit like me saying I'm going to marry Chris Hemsworth. Like, it ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I can't have my standards set that high. So to me, I think it's, I just think to myself, we have to be realistic with our expectations. That's what I'm asking fans to be realistic with your expectations. We can't expect it all to happen at once with Conte. He's doing the best he can with what he's got at the moment, and he is going to get other players in. If he gets his other players in and we go for like another season where we play like this, or this happens, then understandably, but he hasn't even been with us a year yet. Think about it realistically. Managers who've only had a year and 2 transfer windows, it's just not enough. Like, we have to be more realistic, I think, with our expectations.
Yeah. Look, yeah, you're speaking to the king of delusion here, Mia. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But look, anything else you want to speak about before we end off, my dear?
No, I think I've had my little rant. I've had my little say. Like I say, I think I've calmed down a little bit, and I will probably not be watching anything football that much until we play again in the Champions League, and hopefully we'll win, because otherwise I just can't stand listening to all the different things, and it gets a bit negative, and I don't like that negative energy. I pick up on it a lot, and I just don't like it. I just think, right, we just have to see what happens in the next game and hope that Conte gives all of them a rocket up their arses, because if he don't, I'm going to go down to North London myself and have a little word with these guys, because I swear they all just need to be had a word with. Even
Please do.
Dyer,
You'd probably give Romero an extra word, will you?
Oh well, he wasn't there. It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault today. But if he needs, if he needs a massage, I'll happily oblige.
Absolutely love it. And Maria, pick yourself up, my dear, and we'll speak again very, very soon. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sure that we will. No worries. Take care of yourself.
Same to you.
In Conte we trust. In Conte we trust.
Exactly. I absolutely love that. In Conte we trust. Big up Maria, everybody. Give Maria a lot of love. Actually, since she's come out of her shell and started come on having a conversation, I actually really enjoy what she has to say. She says it with her chest as well. No one can tell her otherwise. I absolutely love it. But look, it's come to an end. I thought it'd help me. Still hasn't provided me the therapy I needed it to. And I'm still going to go to bed an angry man. I'm just probably going to turn on a movie, cry, and wallow myself to sleep. I don't know whether to watch the Notebook. I don't know whether to watch Titanic. I need something that's going to produce a few tears so that I have a reason to cry rather than people just saying you're crying over Tottenham. But guys, you guys all head off. Have a good evening. We'll see you all back here tomorrow for the fan show. As always, come on, you Spurs. Most importantly, in Conte we trust. See y'all soon.